Imagine the sound of a Viking raid. You imagine the splintering of wood, the clash of steel, the screams of terror. And you might imagine the howling of wolves on a distant hill. But what if the howling isn't from wolves? What if it's from the men themselves? Men who don't just fight, but who become the storm. Men who seem to shed their own humanity like a winter cloak and embrace a rage so pure, so terrifying, it feels like it comes from the gods themselves. These were not ordinary Vikings. They were the legends whispered in fear around fires from Constantinople to Iceland. They were the Berserkers. The word itself, from the Old Norse Berserker, likely means bear shirt, a warrior who goes into battle wearing the skin and the spirit of a bear. Or perhaps it means bear shirt, a man so consumed by his fury that he needs no armor, his rage his only shield. Both translations tell the same story. These were men who stood on the terrifying edge between the human and the beast. The Norse sagas paint a vivid, chilling picture. They describe warriors who, before a battle, would enter a state of uncontrollable fury known as Berserker gang. They would foam at the mouth, their bodies would tremble, and they would let out blood-curdling howls. They would bite down on the iron rims of their shields, their teeth grinding against the metal. And then they would charge, immune to fire and steel. Feeling no pain from their wounds, they would crash into enemy lines like a tidal wave, sweeping away everything in their path with a strength that was said to be inhuman. They were the ultimate shock troops, a weapon of psychological terror. To face a shield wall was frightening. To face a berserker was to face a demon from the darkest corners of Norse mythology. In the old beliefs, this fury was not their own. It was a gift, a dark, ecstatic gift from the All-Father himself, Odin. Odin was not just the god of wisdom and kings. He was the god of poetry, magic, and most importantly, of ecstatic, uncontrollable fury. It was believed that he could bestow this divine madness upon his most favored champions, allowing them to channel the ferocious spirits of bears. They became hamrammer, skin changers. They didn't just wear the pelt of the beast. They became the beast. In their minds, they were no longer a man named Borm or Eric. They were the bear. They were the wolf. And they were invincible. But what was the reality behind this terrifying myth? For centuries, historians and scientists have tried to unmask the Berserker, to find the rational explanation for this seemingly supernatural rage. The most popular theory, the one you have likely heard, is drugs. Specifically, the hallucinogenic mushroom, Amanita muscaria, the iconic red and white toadstool of fairy tales. The theory suggests that Viking shamans would prepare a brew from these mushrooms, sending the warriors into a powerful, delirious trip before battle. And it's a compelling idea, but when you look closer, the story begins to crumble. The known side effects of this mushroom vomiting, muscle spasms, and a deep, coma-like sleep after the initial euphoria are not exactly the qualities you want in your elite warriors on the battlefield. Would you trust your entire battle plan to a dozen men on a very, very bad trip? Another theory points to something simpler: alcohol. We know Vikings brewed powerful ales and meads. Could the Berserker gang be nothing more than an extreme, drunken rage? It's certainly possible. Alcohol can lower inhibitions and fuel aggression. But can it explain the specific ritualistic nature of the trance? The shield biting, the animalistic howls, the reported immunity to pain? It feels like a piece of the puzzle, but not the whole picture. This leads us to a third and perhaps the most profound explanation, one that has nothing to do with what they put into their bodies, but everything to do with what they unleashed from their minds. Modern psychology has a name for it: a self-induced dissociative state, a form of intense ritualistic trance. Imagine a young warrior raised on tales of Odin and the spirit animals. Imagine him on the eve of battle, participating in a ritual of rhythmic chanting, drumming, and frenzied dancing. He is surrounded by his brothers, all entering the same state. He is told he is no longer a man. He is a bear. He believes it. His mind creates a powerful cocktail of adrenaline, group psychology, and spiritual fervor. In this state, the brain can do extraordinary things. It can shut down the centers for pain and fear. It can flood the body with so much adrenaline that strength is temporarily magnified. The warrior is no longer himself. He has dissociated from his own identity, his own sense of self-preservation. He has become a pure, unthinking instrument of war. He is not high on a mushroom. He is high on a belief. He has, through sheer force of will and ritual, unlocked the beast within. So what became of these terrifying men? As the Viking Age waned and Christianity began to spread across Scandinavia, the old gods were replaced. The wild, ecstatic fury of Odin had no place in the ordered world of the cross. Organized kings and jarls, building disciplined armies, began to see the Berserkers not as an asset, but as a liability. They were too unpredictable, too uncontrollable. Laws were passed outlawing the Berserker gang. To go berserk became a crime punishable by exile. Civilization, it seems, has little room for the human hurricane. The Berserker faded from the battlefield and into the realm of legend. But he never truly left us. He remains as a powerful, unsettling symbol. A symbol of the thin line between man and beast, between warrior and monster. He is a reminder of the terrifying power that lies dormant within the human psyche, waiting for the right ritual, the right belief, or the right desperation to be unleashed. The great sagas tell us that Berserker is gone. But when we look at the extremes of human behavior in war and in crisis, we are forced to ask a chilling question. Is the beast truly gone? Or is it merely sleeping?